Welcome back, guys. I am so happy to have you here in my temporary kitchen. While my house is currently being taken apart and put back together, I am blessed enough to be able to stay with my parents, and I'm going to attempt to make a couple of videos while I'm here. It's going to be a little bit difficult, but we're going to do what we can. So today, I am going to try a Filipino dish that I've never had before. It's called Bistek Tagalog, and it is typically sirloin that's cut into thin strips and marinated in soy sauce, citrus, and onion, and garlic normally. But the main things are to have soy sauce, citrus, onion, and black pepper, and on beef. And that's what makes Bistek Tagalog. I am going to do my own little twist on it, as always. I am going to be just adding jalapeno for a little bit of spice. But I hope that y'all are doing well, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and slice our steak. I did not get my hands on sirloin, but I chose to substitute with flank steak. You can substitute with ribeye if you'd like, but I went the cheaper route since it is going to marinate overnight. You want to make sure that you're going to cut against the grain. So if you see, the grain goes this way. You can see the fibers of the meat. And you want to go against the grain because that will make sure that your meat is more tender. So this is, like I said, really thin strips. You could even go to an Asian market and get their pre-sliced meats that are for Korean barbecue or shabu shabu and save you this step. But I wanted to show y'all. It's not too hard. You can even stick your meat in the freezer for just a few minutes, for like 30 minutes or so. You don't want it hard, but that'll just stiffen it up so that you can get more even and thinner slices. Alright, so see if we can get a good look so you can see that the fibers of the meat, it's really short this way. And we need, for this recipe that I'm doing, it's going to be for about, this will be about 6 servings probably. So we have 2 pounds of meat here that we're going to cut up. So if you can't get it as thin as you'd like, which I probably am not, you can also take a meat mallet and pound them out a little bit more. Also, if you're using, a tougher cut like this, you may just want to go ahead and do that. I'm going to be skipping that step because I feel like it. Okay. So we have our 2 pounds of sliced steak. We get cleaned up and we'll make the marinade. Okay, so for our marinade, we're going to need a 1/4 cup of citrus juice. Traditionally, you use Calmansi juice, which is very hard for me to find. I could not find any, so I have lemon juice. So I have a 1/4 cup of lemon juice, And you can substitute lemon, you can do key limes. Citrus is just what you're trying to go for. Maybe on the sweeter citrus side than like straight lime. And then we also need a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. My mom doesn't eat soy, so I am substituting coconut aminos. So we're going to be using a 1/4 cup of coconut aminos. A good thing to note is that coconut aminos are not as salty as soy sauce. They are lower sodium, so we're going to want to taste this and make sure that it does have enough salt. And then we need a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Good amount of black pepper. Okay, we also need, the amount of garlic varies wildly. The recipe I really liked called for a head of garlic, but I'm going to kind of cut the difference and not let my bias just make it super, super garlicky, because this one is supposed to be focused on onion, not garlic. So we are doing the rest of this last head of garlic that I have, which is, what, 6 cloves here? And as you can see, my little garlics, they are growing little sprouts. See the green? That is completely safe to eat. It can, if you let it go too long, if it's growing like massively, it can kind of make your garlic a little mushy. And if you were to eat them raw, it could be kind of bitter instead of just the spicy flavor that raw garlic typically has. But since we're cooking this, it's no big deal. And they've just barely started to show out of here. It's garlic scapes is what's growing out of here. And this is, you could actually plant this clove, either of these cloves. You could plant them as is, or you could root them and then plant them, and they will grow garlic bulb for you. But that takes a very long time, and I am impatient, so I will just continue to buy my garlic. We're just going to give this a pretty rough chop here. It's not really imperative that we get it all minced up super nicely. Easy peasy. Now for the onion. So I have never cut an onion how I'm about to cut this onion, so bear with me. It is the way that you cut it for this dish is to do rings. Well, so it's not going to be as stable as normal, since it doesn't have a flat side, so you have to be super careful here and don't cut your fingers. You know, we want them fairly thin, but we don't need them crazy thin. Just be sure, when you're doing this, hold on to your knife, you know, really firmly. Just hold on. You do not want to slip with this rolling around here. So I am using a sweet onion. This is what's traditional, but I saw people when I was looking for recipes, I mean, everybody used whatever they had. This is very much a dish of, I think it came out of, need kind of situation. So it's a very modest dish. It's made with a very chewy, very cheap cut of meat. And it's very simple. And that is just the nature of it. So don't sweat it if you're gonna, if you can't do exactly what it calls for. Just do something similar. Red onion, white onion, yellow onion, whole bunch of shallots. So when I said that this focuses on onion, I really meant it. It's a lot of it. Alright, and the last thing that we're going to add here is a nice jalapeno. So if you want to make sure that this isn't too spicy, if you wanted to add the jalapeno, you can take out the seeds. And I have 2. I'm going to go ahead and add 2. I give this a little taste just to make sure it's what we want. Oh, that's good. So the coconut aminos are a little bit they're a little bit sweeter. And some of these recipes did call for some brown sugar. So the coconut aminos really adds that nice sweetness that the brown sugar would have added. Alright, so our meat is done. It's ready to go in the refrigerator. Do let this marinate for at least an hour. If you can do it overnight, do it overnight. That's what I'm going to be doing. So this will be dinner for tomorrow. Alright, so we have had our meat marinating for about 24 hours now almost. So look at all that deliciousness that we have going on. And we're ready to start cooking it up. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out. You need to save the marinade. So take the meat and the onions out, and we're going to actually cook some of the onions first and then the meat. And then we're going to bring the marinade up to a boil with some water and let it simmer for a while. So let's get started. Alright, so we have some oil heating here over medium-high heat. And we're going to add in the onions. We're going to saute these for a few minutes and just let them get cooked up and get all of the raw meat juices off of them. Then we're going to save them and set them aside for topping at the end. Alright, these look like they have a nice color on them. So we'll go ahead and take them out and set them aside. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and add some more oil. We're going to go ahead and cook this meat in a couple batches. And it's on medium-high. Just want to get a little bit of browning on it. just a couple minutes on each side. That got some good color on it. Alright, so this is all done. So we're going to add the rest of the meat that we already browned in here. The last few onions. The rest of the marinade that was left over, plus some, I put a cup of water in here as well. I'm going to bring this up to a boil. Make sure everything kind of is killed off, and we'll let this simmer for a while. Alright, so this has been boiling for just a minute, so we're going to go ahead and turn it down and let it simmer. And we're going to let this go for 40 to 50 minutes or until the meat is tender, and just add water or broth, or if you taste it and it needs some more soy or citrus, go ahead and add that just as it cooks. And while this is going, I'll go ahead and make some rice and some roasted carrots, and we'll be ready for dinner. Okay. This looks great. It has come down and reduced a lot. I did end up adding a little bit of extra salt after I tasted it because, as I said before, the coconut aminos are not as salty as the soy sauce. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add a couple pieces. I have some rice here that I made in the pressure cooker. Let's just give this a try. Add some of these onions on top. And I'm gonna hit it with a little squeeze of lime. Alright, so let's just go ahead and give this a little try here. Hot. That's perfect. The meat's really flavorful. You can get that citrus through it. These onions are perfect. A little bit of kick from the jalapeno. Very good. Well, if y'all cook this, let me know. And I hope that y'all are doing really well. I will see you soon with another video, I hope. And y'all stay safe, stay well, and stay blessed. Bye. Thank y'all so much for joining me tonight and letting me share my recipes and experiments with you. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. And I'd love to hear any recommendations you have for what I can cook next, so let me know in the comments below. And please follow me on Instagram and Facebook to keep up with any updates, and share any pictures or comments if you try out one of my recipes. Well, I hope y'all have a super blessed night, and I'll see you soon. Bye!